All right, all right, all right. Welcome to the Tuesday night Principal, the Chiro broadcast from DE and Band of Brothers. I'm Dr. Brian Moriarty, your esteemed MC for tonight's exciting call with Dr. Nicole. Oops. Sorry, Kat. Your live thing came through and I clicked on it, so I went to your other live broadcast. We're good now. Anyway, Dr. Brian Moriarty, we got our call tonight with Dr. Nicole Kaufman Cole coming up in a little bit here, guys. But first, we got to talk about DE. Our little angel Nevea just told me in the back room there. We got 37 days till DE, guys. Wow, seems like it's coming quick here this time. But this is our quick turnaround DE. 37 days away. So most people book airfare within 6 weeks of travel. So we're inside of that. We got to get that hotel booked, get that rent a car booked, get everything. There we go. There's our overlay. October 21st to the 24th in Atlanta. Then you get back to back in Sarasota in January and April, and then back in Atlanta for August. So October 21st to the 24th is going to be another epic DE. Absolutely packed crowds. You do not want to miss that one. Uh, get there for DE October 21st to 24th in nearby Marietta, Florida, Georgia. Excuse me. There's like a bomb going off in the background there. Sorry about that. You definitely want to get to this DE, guys. The way the country's headed, you never know where we're going here. I was hearing them talk about limiting air travel. So, if for some reason you need a vaccine to travel by air, we're all screwed for DE. So, I think we're good for this one. So, for October, could be your last in a while. Not saying doom and gloom. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But might want to make plans to get there, get filled up with the principal before the world goes even more to crap. So, anyway, please get to D, guys. We'd love to see you. We'll all be there. It's going to be great. Also, wanted to talk about Joe Biden's wonderful mandate. Since we've last talked on here, there was a mandate about Medicare and about, well, there was other things. There was companies with over 100 employees must all be vaccinated. But the thing that pertains to chiropractors and why I bring this up is there was Medicare and Medicaid providers would have to be vaccinated, and all their employees would have to be vaccinated. And our good friends at the ICA did some digging there. And if you have not heard, Beth Clay, the CEO of the ICA, sent out this wonderful update where she says after contacting them, she heard back this regulation does not directly apply to physicians' offices as these are not regulated under the provider-specific Medicare health and safety regulatory provisions, generally referred to as conditions of participation. So it looks like we're in the clear as of right now for that ICA update. Thank you, Beth Clay, for that. But if you take Medicare or Medicaid, you are not going to have to be vaccinated or your employees, okay? That crazy, horrific, presidential, tyrannical edict from Joe Biden from last week, not to be political, just calling him like I see him, uh, does not apply to you as a chiropractor in private practice is the reason why I'm saying this, because there's been a lot of people getting very nervous. I take Medicare or Medicaid or whatever. Here's your answer from the ICA, straight from the CMS people, is that you can still practice. You're still going to be fine. You will not be mandated to be vaccinated. So, a lot of good news on that front. So that was good news. And then we had other good news breaking out of New York here just a few hours ago. You had 17 healthcare workers sue the state of New York because they were mandating that they had to be vaccinated. And a judge decided to grant an injunction for them. So they do not have to be. And that's going to go back and forth. But that was a win for the good guys. So the judge ruled that they don't. Where's that article now? Let's see where that's at here. Oh, perfect. I can never find anything when you need it. Judge blocks New York from imposing vaccine mandate on medical workers. CBS News. That's a good headline for our clan, guys. So anyway, The time for diligence is upon us. We're fighting back. Everybody's fighting back. So stay strong out there, guys. I know you're getting beaten up. I know there's a lot of states out there that you're wondering if you're going to be able to practice without a vaccine. Stay strong, guys. There's a lot of people working very hard on this. DE's working hard on it. The ICA is working hard on it. Support these people if you can, and try to get to DE next month. So enough about that. Let's get into tonight's call here. Dr. Nicole Kaufman. Cole is a legend at DE. Comes from a huge chiropractic family. One of the most noteworthy families we have of recent memory. Just absolute rock stars all up and down in her family in this profession. But I just want to make a point to say that we don't want to forget Nicole is a freaking rock star too. She might not be the on stage blasting it out type rock star, but she is one of those people in the back of the room that makes a lot of things happen and is an absolute powerhouse. The name of her chiropractic office, in case you didn't know that, because I didn't know the name, Chiropractic Brings Life. What a great name for an office. Okay, someone else needs to also name their office that. That's a great name, Nicole. You totally are a rock star. Thank you, the other Nicole. And I'm excited to hear you speak because I can't wait to hear your story and how much this profession has given you. So without further ado, practicing in Waverly, Tennessee, give it up for Dr. Nicole Kaufman Cole. Thanks, Nicole, for doing this.
Hello, hello. Legend, rock star. Not so sure those are words that should describe me, but I'm happy to be here. As Brian said, my office is in Waverly. My office with my husband, so our office. My husband and I work together. Dan Cole, most of you know him as well, and we're a two-man team. We don't have a CA. We do it all. So if somebody's answering the phones, it's one of us. If somebody's doing paperwork, it's one of us. If somebody's adjusting, it's one of us, and so on and so forth. So that's just kind of how our office is run. And we like it that way. I homeschool in the mornings, and so Dan runs it all by himself in the morning, and then we're a team in the afternoon. So it's pretty awesome. But yeah, we're in Waverly, Tennessee. A month ago, no one had heard of our town. And then all of a sudden, Waverly became national news, unfortunately, for all the flash flooding and whatnot. So we kind of had disaster hit our town on August 21st. And, Dan and I, we live 40 minutes east of our office. And so we're sitting pretty in our home, which is nowhere near danger whatsoever. So we were fine. But we're watching on Facebook everything unfold and, not knowing how our patients are doing and how their houses are doing. And, and feeling mixed emotions because we are also wondering about our office and, feeling almost a little bit selfish because we're wondering about our office, but people are literally dying. Like people in our town died. So it was pretty horrific. Sorry. But the waters did not hit our office. We were fine. Our office is fine. They were, houses one street over from our office are demolished, probably won't be rebuilt. The library next to us is closed. So, it was really close. Our building is kind of rectangular shaped, and the business on the corner of our building had a little bit of water. So it was really, really close. And we are just thankful that we're still open and still practicing and able to do what we do. And because the rest of our town is in shambles. We've got, 10 patients' families that have lost their homes, and more than that, that are homeless for a bit until their homes can get reestablished. And all this kind of got me thinking, these patients that had their homes demolished or their cars, they literally watched their cars float away from their home. The flood was on Saturday. Monday, I think we saw a single patient. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're closed on Fridays. We're not normal days by any stretch. But during a week where it would have been completely normal to see no one, because our town looked like a disaster area. We had people coming in, and surprisingly, some of the people that came in were the ones whose homes were flooded. And that was kind of a shocker for me. They stopped cleaning up their home. I love you, Robin. They stopped cleaning up their home for a moment to come in and get their spine checked. And it blew my mind that, they came in and of course got some hugs as well. And they're like, oh, I'm super gross. I've been cleaning the house. I don't care. Come on in. We got to get some hugs in because that's what everybody needs right now. But so what happens when disaster strikes, right? This is just something that came to me through all of this. And thankfully, I've never had to know it before. I know some of you guys live in areas, and I know you've been through it. Johnny Balsamo, you've been through it twice, I think, where you've had to rebuild your office. And we've never had to do that. And we still, thankfully, didn't have to rebuild our office. But we were put into a situation where, do we open our office and be open for adjusting, which is needed, of course, during this time? But what is needed more? Is the adjusting needed more, or is us being out in the community needed more? Where should we be? And so we kind of struggled with that the first couple of days. And basically, we ended up where Dan was in the office and taking care of everyone in that respect for the most part. And then I was out in the community doing things in that respect as well. And that's just kind of how we did it. I was, and Dan was able to come out in the community as well, which was great that we both were able to help. We wanted to do something. When you feel like you're one of the only people in town that's not hit, you feel this moral obligation to do something. You feel helpless. And so we both went out and just helped clean out houses. You're literally just taking all of these people's belongings and just throwing them in the trash. It's super sad. And unfortunately there were people missing for many days, and helped look for those people as well. And it's just being there for people. And I think when you are a principled chiropractor, when you're a DE chiropractor, being there for people, not just for adjustments, is a part of what we do, I think. At least I hope it is for everyone. And I think it is for everyone on here. So I just, I think it is really amazing that people still chose to come in and get their weekly adjustment, even if it was, maybe it wasn't that we were so great at education. Maybe it was just that they needed a little bit of normal in their life. They could come into our office, which was dry and clean and not filled with mud and dust and wet things. So they could come into our office for that. They knew that they could get a little bit of normal. But also it just doesn't, someone thinking about their chiropractor and their spine in the midst of disaster, I don't think that happens overnight. I think that happens with the initial couple of visits where we really hit the education hard, but we're also educating on each visit, just tidbits. We're not lecturing people by any stretch, but just little tidbits here and there. And when they ask a question, oh, can chiropractic help such and such? Well, there's your opportunity to teach again, what hopefully they should already know because you've already told them. But people, this is so different from everything else that they've done in life. And they need those reminders, even though you're like, oh my gosh, seriously, I literally just told you this last time you were here. Chiropractic can help anything if that thing is caused from nerve interference. That's going to be my answer every time. So sometimes people, if they've asked questions multiple times, they, you get to, I know, I probably already know the answer to this question, but I have a friend who has such and such. Do you think that chiropractic could help that? And so sometimes if they kind of already give me an out there, I put it back on them. Well, what do you think? Do you think it could help? Right? Because if there's a bone out of place, putting pressure on the nervous system, if that nervous system goes to your stomach and you're having stomach problems, do you think that chiropractic could help with that? Yeah. If it's something else, it's something else. I don't know. I never know. But hey, send that person in. We'd love to see them. We'd love to try. And all we can do is release the nerve pressure and see what happens in their body. That's all we can do. I really should have brought water down here. But we tell people from day one, day two, some people come to us and say, you guys have all heard, once you start seeing a chiropractor, you have to go forever. So what I do, and I think Dan does as well, is I kind of nip that in the bud first visit. And I literally tell them, okay, so I'm sure you've heard, once you go to a chiropractor, you have to go forever. Well, so here's the deal. And this is me talking to the patient. You don't have to come here forever. You don't have to have good health forever. That is totally up to you. I'm not quite so sarcastic with it. Sometimes depends on my mood. My husband's bringing me water because he's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay. What was I saying? Have to go to a chiropractor forever. So I don't tell them that is incorrect. I tell them, look, we want to see you from now until the day you die. That is what we want. And the reason we want that is because we know that is the best for you. We want to see your children. We want to see your children from birth till death. I want your husband to come in here. I want your wife to come in here. I want everyone to come in here. Once I am done explaining chiropractic to you, you will understand why you and everyone needs to be under chiropractic care from today onward, right? Because if you understand that the brain sits up inside your head, sends messages down your spinal cord and out your nerves to literally everything in your body, and if one of those nerves has interference, then whatever that nerve is going to cannot function properly. It's not that it might not function properly, it's that it cannot and it will not function properly. That doesn't mean that if it's a nerve to your stomach that your stomach's going to shut down, because thankfully our body has checks and balances in place, and that's just not going to happen. But maybe your stomach won't work as well as it can. So we want your body to be functioning at its highest potential all the time. Unfortunately, we live in a world where we are putting lots of stresses on our body daily, unfortunately, whether it is emotional stresses from our work or our personal lives, or looking down at our phones all day. That is so, so terrible for detrimental spines, many of them, including ours, unfortunately, right? So a lot of us maybe don't have the best form for our own bodies. So I encourage you all to try your best to adjust in a way that is good for you, if that makes sense. Because we need to stay strong so that we can take care of others, right? And of course, hopefully you're getting adjusted. I know not everyone is as lucky as I am to be married to a chiropractor, but hopefully you have a chiropractor that you're seeing regularly. And if you're not, that's your homework for the week. You got to get on that and get some good chiropractic care. We recommend in our office, and we tell them this from the start as well, like maintenance care in our office is once a week. And the reason that we did that, years ago, chiropractors did once a month. I know my dad always did like once a month was maintenance care. And I don't know where that came from. I know I was taught that in school, even once a month is maintenance care. I'm not sure where that came from. I'm sure someone knows. It's probably insurance related back in the day, unfortunately. But we don't recommend that for maintenance care. If you think about yourself and your family members as a chiropractic families, do you go a month without getting checked? I don't. I try not to anyway. I mean, sometimes life gets the best of me and I go 2 to 3 weeks, but that's max. And that's only if there's a lot of stuff going on in my life. That it rarely happens. So anyway, I don't know why I went off on that. But the whole point though is just to tell your patients from the start, give them the truth. I feel like a lot of our patients respect the fact that we tell them right off the bat, we want you here forever because we feel it is literally that important. So we're not going to water it down. That's just what it is. People need to see a chiropractor from birth until death, because at what point in your life is having a fully functioning body not ideal? It's always ideal. It's always the best situation in your life. So anyway, anytime I do talks like this, people always ask me, tell your chiropractic story, tell your chiropractic story. And I or your history in chiropractic. And today when Brian told me that, I was like, I feel like I've told it so many times and everyone knows it. But at the same time, I'm sure I don't tell it the same way every time. So little backstory about Nicole. My dad was a chiropractor. If you've been to DE for a minute, then you knew him. So Dr. Art Kaufman, if you're new to DE within the last few years, he passed away in May of 2018. But prior to that, he had been going to DE since 1967, I think. But when he went in 1967, he was a vendor. So he was one of the people sitting out in the hallway. He was selling, I don't remember the name of it, but it was some sort of like patient education. It was like a TV. So you bought the whole TV, not just a DVD, which didn't exist, right? But it was like a patient education tool that he sold to chiropractors to put in their waiting areas. So through that, he got to know Dr. Sid and Dr. Umber and Joe Stuckey, J. Clay Thompson. These are all people that were his friends and mentors from the start. And so basically they started bugging him about when are you going to become a chiropractor? When are you going to become a chiropractor? And so anyway, long story short, he became a chiropractor. He graduated from Cleveland Chiropractic School in Kansas City, which is where I'm from originally. He graduated from there in 75. So that's, yeah. Sorry, again. And then from there, spawned a few more chiropractors. My brother Joe, which many of you know, he's down Miami area, and he married a chiropractor, a DE kid as well, Lisa Bartell, whose parents are DE chiropractors. Her dad is rather. And And so he has quite a few chiropractors. He's got 6 on Lisa's side of the family, and we've got 6 on our side. So my uncle, my mom's brother, became a chiropractor, and then of course myself and my other brother, who practices in Kansas City, is an amazing chiropractor in Kansas City. And that's it. Yeah. And my cousin is in chiropractic school right now, so that's pretty exciting. But I just growing up in DE, I've been coming to DE since I was born. Of course, with my dad becoming a chiropractor partially because of DE. I've of course been coming since I was born. It's all I've ever known as far as if you are a chiropractor, then you go to DE. Like that's how my brain works. So sometimes I would go to the meetings back when I was a kid at the Renaissance Waverly, which we just had DE there, a couple of DEs ago. And that was the DE hotel when I was a kid. Like that was the one that we went to for the most part. And all of those conference rooms, like when we walk in, that whole thing was open. That was one big room. And there were 1,500, 2,000 people in the room. Someone else could give a better number, I'm sure. And there was security at the door, so much so that the security, I remember many times, they would not let me go through the door so that I could talk to my mom and dad in the room. They were a little strict. I'm like, but that's my dad right there. Can I just go to my dad? And they were like, no. So I had to then send a chiropractor in that was going in and be like, can you go get my dad? So that's kind of how it went. So I have a lot of fond memories of the Renaissance Waverly, as do I'm sure many other of the little DE kids, so to speak. There's actually quite a few in the room at DE that are DE kids, not our kids, right? But people like me and Liz Rassel and Austin Davis, Ryan Dops, Brian Moriarty, right? We were all like those annoying little kids in the back of the room. That was us. That was us. Dean Sotilli, right? That was us. That was us in the back of the room, being those annoying children in the back of the room. I'm just kidding. The children are not annoying. They're beautiful and wonderful creatures. We were annoying, though. I've heard some really interesting stories about the Liz Russell, Dean Sotilli generation. They're a little bit older than me. So FYI, you should get some stories from them. I was the good one. I'm just putting that out there. But I heard, messed up some rooms at times. So whenever their kids are being hellions, then you can know where that came from. Just saying. But anyway, that spawned to what? I guess when, as time goes on, and Daniel Schaefer, I am an angel. Stop it. So on Sunday mornings of DE, like I usually during DE weekend did not talk to Dr. Sid a whole lot. I really didn't. So he was, he basically always had a line to talk to him. And I never wanted to bother him. But oftentimes as I'm walking by, he would literally pull me aside and be like, and tell whoever he was talking to. And there are probably people that can attest to this because you were probably on the other end of this at some point where you were talking to Dr. Sid. I walked by and he would stop and go, hey, and he would tell the person, I've been knowing this girl since she was a baby. And he would make the little baby, the little baby symbol or sign, whatever. But anyway, so that was always funny and embarrassing. So little, I don't know, embarrassed me like an uncle would. He kind of felt like an uncle to me always. But Sunday mornings were the times where we got to spend some good quality time with Dr. Sid and Dr. Nell, and oftentimes Dr. Dee and not often Beth, because on Sunday mornings she's committed to her church where she does music every week. So, but anyway, it was really cool to be able to just sit in his room, Dr. Sid and Dr. Nell's room. We would always go up to his room on Sunday morning and just kind of hang out. Sometimes it was for a short period of time, and then we would run off and go to lunch. If there was a football game on, then it would be a lot longer because we would not leave that room until the football game was over. So it just really depended on what was going on. And I mean, he'd be sitting there eating breakfast and we'd just be talking about nothing, or sometimes just not talking at all and just sitting in each other's presence. And when I was younger, I really never, I don't think I understood how special that was, because he was just kind of like family to me. And I didn't realize until that wasn't an option anymore, I guess, how awesome that was to be able to just sit in his presence. And, you know, I didn't really pick his brain a lot. Maybe I should have, but I really didn't. We didn't really have any deep talks. That's just not the relationship that we had. And that's okay. I love the relationship that I have with him. But because of all of that, DE is home for me. So, you know, I really try my best to reach out and talk to new people each DE, just because I don't want anyone to feel left out. But I know, you know, Dean has said it a million times from the stage, like, if we ignore you, if we're at DE and we ignore you, it's not personal in any way, shape, or form. It is just that we are all just seeing our family, you know, for the fourth time that year. But we want to see our family. And, you know, Brian, when he introduced me, said something about me being in the back of the room. I am generally in the back of the room. I'm kind of, I don't know, if I was born 20 years later, I would have for sure been diagnosed with ADHD or something, because I just have a hard time sitting still. So it's not best for me to sit up front. I don't know how you guys do it. I can't. There's no way I would be able to sit there for the whole time. So kudos to you guys in the front. But I'm generally in the back, and unless there's a ton of talking going on, and then I have to move up like 5 rows, which is kind of annoying. But I enjoy being in the back. I love you too, Mama. I enjoy being in the back and just, again, just being in the presence. So we all bond in different ways, right? And I truly bond with you guys just standing next to you in the back of the room. So if I've ever stood in the back of the room next to you, I chose to stand by you. And so I enjoy bonding with people by literally just being in their presence. You know, if you are practicing with your innate and learning how to feel and listen with your heart, if you've ever listened to Pete Amlinger, then you know what I mean. But I've been practicing my whole life, right? With being a DE kid, like that's just kind of how you're raised, is listening with your heart, so to speak. And I really feel like when you are next to someone, it doesn't matter what you're saying, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be saying nothing, but you are bonding with that person, and there's love, and there's so much love at DE. And I hope that you feel it when you come. If you haven't come, please come and feel the love in the room. Find me and get a hug. I'm happy to give them away to whoever will take them. Excuse me. I apologize. But I just encourage you to open your heart to just sit and feel the love. Because DE is obviously wonderful for the speakers and listening to the speakers and what they have to say. But it's just more, we need to just sit and feel the room. I think that's 10 times better than the speakers. No offense to any of the speakers, but I think the speakers would agree with me. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an amazing night. I'm all set, Brian.
All right, Nicole, that was awesome, girl. Thank you so much for being on tonight.
Thank you.
And heck yeah, I'm a DE kid just like a bunch of us others. And yeah, we got some stories to tell. I think we're not supposed to say that, though. That's like the...
That's right. That's right.
It's like part of the code. Like you
No,
go up
it's
and
like
down the
Fight Club.
escalators and you
can't talk about
don't
it.
tell what happened between Dean Santilli and Liz Russell. So I can digress. But anyway, thank you so much for being on, Nicole. What a beautiful testimony. So honest, so pure. Glad to hear things are getting better up there in Waverly, Tennessee, and hopefully they keep improving up there. And my wife and you need to get back doing some accountability work there with your training and stuff.
I'm so sorry you cut out. I don't know what you said.
Oh, sorry. I said my wife and you need to get training again now that the weather's better. Can you hear me? Okay. Maybe it's me. Anyway, we'll close up. Thank you, Nicole, for being on. Show her some love if you're on this thing.
I know.
Oh, there you go. Now we're back.
Yes, we were doing so well.
Yes.
We were doing so well, and then the flood hit, and I basically stopped texting her. I love you, Laura. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stop texting you.
All right. You guys can get back on track now. Don't worry.
That's right. That's right.
So, anyway, thanks everybody for joining us on the Tuesday night DE call from Band of Brothers. We will see you next Tuesday. Thank you again, Nicole, and we'll see you all at DE. And Nicole, thanks so much for all you do for Kids DE. As someone with kids, we truly appreciate your years of service doing that thankless job. So thank you, thank you, thank you.